What are my go-to neighborhoods for Folsom, California? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. As always, hit the like button, subscribe, ding that notification bell because I got new videos coming out for you every single week. Now, today we're actually jumping straight into my top neighborhoods for Folsom, California. Now, these are neighborhoods that I will say most of my clients are moving to right now, but I also say I think that's going to change sooner than later, just because on the other side of Highway 50 there is a ton of new building going in. I mean, they're doing 55 and older master plan communities. They're doing single family home master communities, townhomes, condos are going in there. It's gonna bring a whole new level to Folsom. But as of today's recording, let's get into it. Oh, by the way, we are also real estate agents, so as much as we love making these videos, we love helping out even more with your real estate needs. So give us a call, hit that 15-minute Zoom up, and we'd love to get you on your journey. First neighborhood we're gonna hit up is Broadstone. Now, Broadstone is a mixture of properties, but what I like about this area first is at the base of Broadstone, this is all kind of starting to go up a little bit of a hill. At the base is the Broadstone Park. They got volleyball courts there, nice playground, and then just a huge grass area to play in. Other thing they do have is some softball and baseball fields there. But the best thing about that whole neighborhood is you are just minutes, seconds from getting to grocery stores, getting to the Claudio, the Whole Foods, pretty much anything and everything that you could want to get involved with. Also, not too far from one of the best high schools around in Folsom. And you also have to remember that you're not too far from really any of the access freeways as well. Broadstone's one of those neighborhoods that you're gonna find single family homes for the most part. These houses are gonna be a little bit older, neighborhood's a little bit more established, and the whole neighborhood is kind of spread out in this fanned movement. So really nice when you're driving through there, pretty easy to get in and out of the neighborhood if you really need to. Also, I'm finding that a lot of people that are working remote going there, and because you're on the start of a hill, depending on where you're at in Broadstone, you actually get some nice views out into the Folsom area. All right, neighborhood number 2 on the houses we're gonna be going over today is going to have to be Hillcrest. Now, the thing I like about Hillcrest is you move up a little bit higher on that hill, you're getting a lot of luxury properties at this point. You still actually have some blank lots in the area, so if you're looking to build your own property, you can purchase one of those lots and build. I know a lot of the lots right now are owned by people that are doing like semi-customs and customs homes, but there's also a couple mixed in there where people have purchased to build future residents and they just haven't done it yet. Hillcrest is also a gated community, so if you want some of that extra layer of security, you're gonna be good to go there. Also, if you're working at places like, say, Intel, which has got a huge campus out there, you're not too far from it. Also, if you're having to drop your kids off for high school and you work at Intel, it's literally across the street. So this little area really works good with if you need to get over there. Another trend that I've been seeing more and more in the Folsom area as well is, of course, the remote workers. So a lot of these houses are being built with that in mind. And so a lot of the guys that are building right now are actually making these really lavish offices, which I find really cool. Again, you've got some of that overview out there. So if you want to get the views kind of like you get in the El Dorado Hills area, Hillcrest is going to be a great place to look at, but most of these properties are going to be in the millions, multi-million dollar range. There is an HOA because of that gate, not very high because it's just pretty much taking care of the gate, and also depending on where you're kind of situated, at in the community. You may have a big lot, but you may not have a huge usable lot. I will say that the plots that they did, they really thought about this thing, but sometimes you're kind of on a downslope, so half your lot may not be usable and it's just mostly a retaining wall at that point. But check out the neighborhood, it's a beautiful one. Really get some nice distance and views there. All right, neighborhood number 3 is going to be actually the overall neighborhood. It's Empire Ranch. Now, Empire Ranch really kind of swallows a lot of these other communities up. There's a lot of little villages inside there, but the cool thing about Empire Ranch is, one, you've got all your elementary schools in there. Of course, you've got Empire Ranch Golf Course just in the neighborhood there for you. You've got houses that were built in the 90s. You've also got some newer properties that are being built and newer neighborhoods within Empire Ranch. But the core of it, most of those houses were built in that late 90s and early 2000s. Now, the other thing to know is with Empire Ranch, like I was saying, it kind of swallows some of these other neighborhoods up that we're talking about because it's so large. But you are kind of back. So if you're trying to get to, say, downtown Folsom and enjoy some of what that has to offer, it's gonna take you a minute just because of the lights to kind of get to different places. I find that if you're in Empire Ranch, you're kind of in the middle. No matter which direction you go, whether you want to do some shopping, whether we want to get down to the downtown area, just to get out of Empire Ranch takes you somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. So you are really in the core of a neighborhood and all these surrounding neighborhoods. So just know that if you are having to do some sort of commuting, that it's gonna take you a minute or two, depending on where you're at in that Empire Ranch. But you're not too far, again, from Highway 50, which is the go-to if you're having to go downtown to do any kind of work or just visit the downtown Sacramento area. Houses in this area really are going to vary. Like I say, this is a large neighborhood, large park. So you're going to find houses that are going to start in, say, the 600s and then kind of move up from there. And then most of these houses, I will say, have been taken care of really well. Also, some of the coolest little hiking and biking trails that I've seen around are in Empire Ranch. They have really taking into consideration kind of just the nature around there, and you're going to be going down these things, and 1 minute you're on a dirt trail, the next minute you're on pavement, and you can take these things for miles and miles and kind of really work your way through each neighborhood. There are some little gated communities in there, but for the most part, everything's pretty wide open and some beautiful grown trees in the area. It's one of the things that I would almost say a lot of the houses that are at the neighborhoods, as you're driving through, you'll see that there's just a ton of shade, which I always say it probably makes it a couple degrees cooler when you're up in that Folsom area, just because of the shade that Empire Ranch actually has to offer. Neighborhood number 4 is going to be the Parkway. The Parkway is going to be houses, again, built in those late 90s, early 2000s. This is actually one of the areas where it has probably the coolest trail with the coolest green belt that I've seen. I try to get some aerial in there. Hopefully I'll be able to fit it in. The other cool thing about this neighborhood is it's a smaller neighborhood. It's right next to Empire Ranch, so you're not too far from anything. You've got the elementary school right there. Again, you're really in that core of Folsom neighborhoods, so it is going to take you a minute to get to freeways, shopping, anything like that, but not that far. I mean, I'm kind of griping for no reason, I think. But anyways, beautiful area. The houses have some character. I mean, as you can see, there's 2 stories, there's some 1 stories. Front yards for the most part aren't too big, but they've given you some more in the backyard, which I actually appreciate. I'm not really hanging out in my front yard that much, but hey, if I can fit a pool, or if there's already a pool in the backyard, I'm a-okay. So for me, it works really well. As long as I got a little bit of a green grass area, I'm happy. Okay, and my last neighborhood for Folsom, California. I don't usually do this, but this is actually my favorite neighborhood. It's gotta be Briggs Ranch. Now, there's a reason I love this neighborhood. One, all the houses out there have some beautiful architecture, some cool character when you're walking through these things. You're gonna find a lot of different houses in this neighborhood. You're gonna find houses that have been completely gutted and redone. You're gonna find houses that still need a lot of work, but all these houses have these huge lots. You're on some sort of hill for the most part. I will say, you gotta kind of watch what you buy though. You will notice if you're looking in Briggs Ranch, one side, the house is getting like $50,000 to maybe even $100,000 less than the house on the next side. Reason being is, again, we're kind of on a hill, and so one side will have, actually you're going up to the house and you've got this really nice, beautiful view when you're on up top from the front and from usually a side or something like that. Then you have the other side, which it's actually going down the hill, and basically the driveway is almost as high as the house and going down. Some people don't care that much about it, but I will say in the resale value, it can affect you. I've had it just to the point where I've had a client with a classic car and he literally could not pull his vehicle down the driveway. He loved the house, loved everything about it, but he had this classic car for so long and put so much time and money into it. He literally just could not buy the house because it was just too steep. Other reason I really enjoy this neighborhood, of course, is going to be the trails, but right across the street, you got Folsom Lake. So if you're a boat person, you load up the boat, you want to go out in the afternoon for maybe just a quick, roundabout in the boat, have some fun, do some jet skiing, do some tubing, you can do that. You're so close. There's a ramp right there that you can drop into. There's the trails that go from there. You can just gotta cross the street. You're onto the trails that you've got, of course, around Folsom Lake. And I gotta give it to them. They even have a great 4th of July event that's going on every single year. They actually promote this thing. They ask neighboring neighborhoods to come on in, check it out, have fun with them. I have not been there. I have heard from some of the neighbors though that it is a great event that they throw. The other cool thing that I like about the neighborhood too is just the enormous trees that are out there, the shade that you get from there. I mean, you can see it. It's just, this neighborhood's been there for quite a long time, so you really do have a lot of growth in the area. It keeps the area looking pretty good, and as you can see, there's just this huge green belt that you can walk all the way around and really enjoy. It really just, you get that family atmosphere there. You get a lot of people that take a lot of pride in their properties there. And I find for the most part, if someone's moving to Briggs Ranch, they're not moving out. It's usually, some of these other areas like Broadstone, even say like Hillcrest, stuff like that, people are moving in and out of there. You get a little bit more movement. But when you get into Briggs Ranch, I mean, people sit there and they're there for 30, 40 years before you see them move out. So if you do see a house come on the market there, I usually say jump on it. Now, I will say, because of that pride, sometimes people do go on the market and they do try to push the price a little bit too much. And so if you see a house in there, I would say more than 30 days, they're probably just overpriced. But as soon as they get into that nice price point, I mean, you usually have multiple offers on it. So check out some of this video because, like I say, it is gorgeous in this area. Okay guys, so as you can see, those are kind of my top 5, I guess we'll call it, neighborhoods in Folsom, California. Like I said though, I think this is gonna change pretty soon. We'll have to do another update to it just because of all of the building that is going on the other side of the 50. Now I will say, you got Intel out there, so, and this is a huge campus. They even have a whole field and miles of solar panels out there. Right across the street from that is one of the top high schools, which is the Folsom High School. They've got great sports programs. They have some of the best academic after school programs that I've been involved with. And also they have, as another company, they have VSP right there as well. So if you're looking to move to the area, especially if you're into tech at all, it might be one of those good moves where moving there, you can really just find a job, work, and live in one area. Now, I will say, I think with a lot of that building that's going on, it's going to really compact a lot in Folsom. So I think that you're gonna see, one, prices on these other established neighborhoods really rise, and then two, you're going to see just a lot more traffic. I think Folsom, for the most part, is kind of built out for. They've been planning this for a long time. I know that they've been pushing that project for a long time, and it's going quick. So we'll get you guys an update once some of those other neighborhoods are done. But again, it's kind of hard to compare them because you got new neighborhoods. They don't have the growth yet in the neighborhood. The community really hasn't been completely developed out yet. And these older established neighborhoods, and the houses aren't that old for some of these neighborhoods we're talking about, are just so established out there. Hopefully, again, you guys got everything out of this one. If you like that lake life, if you like 5 to 10 degrees cooler than what you're gonna get in like the Sacramento area, or say across the way to like the Roseville area, you're gonna love Folsom. If you're an outdoors activist, you're gonna love Folsom. If you gotta commute to Sacramento, you're gonna love Folsom. And if you like to get to Tahoe pretty quick, you'll love Folsom. So again, hopefully you guys got everything out of this one. If you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call. We'll see you on the next one.